You woke up today feeling heavier than when you went to sleep. It is not a normal fatigue. It is a gravitational weight, as if the atmosphere in your room has suddenly doubled in density. There is a pressure sitting right behind your eyes, a high-pitched frequency in your ears that comes and goes, behaving less like a medical condition and more like a radio dial trying to find a station. You feel like you are waiting for a diagnosis that never comes. You look in the mirror and you see the exhaustion of someone who has run a marathon, yet you have barely moved. You have been silently carrying this panic, the fear that your body is breaking down, the fear that you are aging rapidly, the fear that something vital has snapped inside your nervous system. You are visiting doctors. They run blood panels. They check your thyroid, they check your iron levels. The results come back clean. You are fine, they say. Maybe it is just stress. But you know, with a terrifying certainty, that you are not fine. You feel like you are screaming in a soundproof room. I am here to tell you that the doctors are wrong, but you are also wrong. This is not burnout. This is not early onset aging. This is not a depressive episode. What you are experiencing is a biological phenomenon known as the epigenetic override. Your body is not dying. It is coming online. To understand why you feel like you are physically collapsing, we have to look at the architecture of your design. For decades, mainstream science made a critical error. When the Human Genome Project mapped the human code, they found that only about 2% of your DNA actually codes for the production of proteins, the building blocks of your physical body. These are called exons. The other 98%? The scientists couldn't figure out what it did. It didn't seem to code for proteins. It didn't seem to do anything active. So, in their arrogance, they labeled it junk DNA. They called these non-coding segments introns. They assumed nature, in its infinite efficiency, simply left 98% of your biological hard drive filled with garbage. They were wrong. That 98% is not junk. It is dormant. It is non-coding only because it hasn't been signaled yet. It is the silent software. It is the potential of the divine human blueprint, lying in wait for a specific environmental trigger to wake it up. Think of it like a pre-installed operating system on a computer that is locked behind a firewall. The code is there, the capability is there. But until the administrator types in the activation key, the computer runs on the basic limited DOS system. That signal has arrived. We are currently moving through a sector of space-time that is bombarding the planet with high-frequency cosmic radiation. This is not new age fluff. This is measurable astrophysical data. This radiation acts as an epigenetic trigger. Epigenetics is the study of how environment controls gene expression. Your DNA is not a fixed blueprint, it is a switchboard. And right now, God, the universal intelligence, has just flipped the master switch. The junk DNA is waking up. The introns are becoming exons. The silent code is beginning to scream instructions to your cells. And this is exactly why you are in pain. You are the chosen one because your biology agreed to this upgrade. God just activated your dormant DNA code, and even the higher realms are watching to see if the human vessel can hold this much light. You volunteered for this. But the reality of the process is violent. It is not a gentle awakening. It is a hostile takeover of the old system. Imagine you have a computer built in 1995. It has a slow processor, limited RAM, and an old cooling fan. It runs fine if you only use it for basic word processing, for survival, for eating, for sleeping. Now imagine trying to install the most advanced, high-speed artificial intelligence software onto that 1995 machine. What happens? The system doesn't just work faster, it freezes. The fan spins so fast it sounds like a jet engine. The hard drive grinds. The case gets hot, physically hot to the touch. The computer isn't broken. It is simply trying to process a data stream that exceeds its current hardware configuration. You are that computer. The exhaustion you feel is system load. You are tired, not because you have no energy, but because you are holding too much. You are processing gigabytes of light data through a nervous system wired for dial-up. The ringing in your ears is the feedback loop of a receiver picking up a bandwidth it hasn't been calibrated for. The heat flashes are the friction of high-voltage consciousness pushing through low-voltage biological wiring. Resistance creates heat. That is a law of physics. Your old identity, your old traumas, your old cellular habits, they act as resistance, and as this new energy forces its way through, it burns that resistance away. You interpret this heat as fever, as inflammation, as sickness. But it is actually the fire of purification. You have noticed a specific relationship turn cold overnight. You have noticed that foods you used to love now make you nauseous. You walk into a crowded mall and feel like your skin is being sandpapered. This is render latency. Your reality is buffering. Your biocomputer is allocating all its resources to the upgrade, so it pulls energy away from digestion, away from social interaction, away from emotional regulation. You have no bandwidth left for the matrix because you are downloading the kingdom. This creates a terrifying gap, the gap between the old human and the new prototype. In this gap, you feel like you are dying. You sit in your car, staring at the steering wheel, unable to summon the will to turn the key. You look at your family and feel a strange distance, as if you are watching them through a pane of glass. This is the isolation of the laboratory. You are in the sterile field. Your body is demanding a quarantine because it is performing the most complex surgery in the history of your species, and it is doing it while you are awake. The medical industry cannot help you because they are looking for pathology. They are looking for a broken part. They cannot diagnose a transformation. They look at the caterpillar turning into soup inside the chrysalis and say, "This creature is dissolving. It is a medical emergency." They do not know it is about to become a butterfly. If you take pills to stop the symptoms, you are effectively trying to stop the butterfly from forming. You are adding chemical suppressants to a system that is trying to purge toxicity. You are trying to cool down the computer by pouring water on the motherboard, which only causes a short circuit. We need to change your metaphor. You are not a failing machine. You are an overheating hardware system in the middle of a reboot. The anxiety you feel is the friction of expansion. The depression is the necessary shutdown of the old interface. You are not losing your mind. You are rewiring your brain. Most people will never reach this stage. They are content with the 2%. They are happy running the survival code. But you could not settle for that. You felt the itch of the 98% your entire life. You knew there was more. You knew you had powers, abilities, and a mission that the world told you was impossible. That knowing was the dormant DNA vibrating. It was the junk whispering to you. And now, the whisper has become a roar. By the end of this broadcast, we are going to stabilize your system. We are going to install the cooling mechanisms you need to handle this voltage. We are going to stop the overheating so you can finish the installation. You will move from a state of medical anxiety where you fear your body to a state of biological mastery where you collaborate with it. You will understand that every ache, every ring, every wave of exhaustion is a notification bar telling you, upgrade in progress, do not turn off. If you have felt this unexplained exhaustion and want to confirm your body is upgrading, like this video to signal your readiness. By liking, you are sending a conscious command to your nervous system. You are moving from a victim of the symptoms to a willing participant in the activation. You are telling your cells, I consent to the override. Let the data in. Do not fight the friction. Validate it. Let the signal verify that you are indeed the vessel chosen for this shift. Now let us open the hood and look at the engine. Let's pop the hood. We need to stop looking at the smoke coming out of the engine and look at the mechanic working underneath. You have been treating your body like a braking machine, but you need to start treating it like a rewriting code. To do that, we have to bridge the gap between spiritual woo-woo and hard biological reality. The mechanism at play here is not magic. It is epigenetics. For decades, the dogma of biology was genetic determinism. We were told that your DNA is a fixed blueprint, written in stone at birth, dictating everything from your eye color to your eventual diseases. We were told the nucleus of the cell was the brain. But the new science has proven this is false. The nucleus is not the brain, it is the gonads. It is merely the reproductive organ of the cell, storing the data. The brain of the cell is the membrane. This is the science of signal transduction. The cell membrane acts as a semiconductor. a liquid crystal gatekeeper that reads the environment. When the environment changes, the membrane sends a chemical signal into the cell, right down to the nucleus, and tells the DNA which gene to unmask and which to hide. This is critical. Your genes are not a blueprint. They are a switchboard. You have thousands of switches that are currently set to off. Here is why you are in pain. The planetary environment, the electromagnetic resonance of the Earth itself, has shifted. The frequency has spiked. Your cell membranes are reading this new high-frequency environment and screaming a new command to the nucleus. Adapt or die. This signal is bypassing the standard survival genes and hitting the junk DNA, the introns. It is flipping switches that haven't been touched in thousands of years. This is what we call the epigenetic override. The override is not a gentle process. It is a hostile takeover of your biological resources. Your body usually operates on a survival budget, keeping the heart beating, the digestion moving, and the brain alert for tigers. But the epigenetic override redirects that budget. It steals energy from your digestion and dumps it into your nervous system. It steals energy from your immune stability and dumps it into cellular reconstruction. You feel this override in 3 distinct ways. First, your circadian rhythm shatters. Time becomes fluid. You wake up at 3:00 a.m., wide awake, with your mind racing not with anxiety but with activity. This is not insomnia. This is your body moving its heavy construction work to the night shift because the waking state is too noisy to process the data download. You are trying to sleep. Your body is trying to render a 4K video on a dial-up connection. Second, metabolic fluctuation. You eat the same foods you have eaten for 10 years, but suddenly, your stomach revolts. Bloating, nausea, heaviness. The epigenetic override requires a massive amount of enzymatic energy to break down old cellular structures. It cannot waste energy digesting complex proteins or process density. Your digestive fire has been reallocated to burn up your old self. Third, and most maddening, is sensory gating failure. The sensory gating system is what allows you to ignore the hum of the refrigerator or the scratch of your shirt tag so you can focus on a conversation. When the override hits, the gates blow open. Everything is loud. The lights in the grocery store are aggressive. The emotions of the person standing next to you feel like they are happening inside your own chest. You aren't too sensitive. Your receiver has simply been turned up to maximum gain to catch the subtle signals of the DNA activation. This leads us to the dangerous trap, the medicalization of ascension. You have been silently carrying this fear that you are dying. You feel the heat in your chest, the buzzing in your nerves, and the crushing fatigue. You go to the doctor. They run the panels. The blood work is clean. The MRI is clear. They tell you it's stress. They tell you it's depression. They offer you a pill to numb the sensation. Here is the tragedy. When you search for spiritual awakening symptoms, physical pain, you often get vague answers about energy clearing. But biologically, this is the nervous system shedding its old myelin sheath. If you treat this like a disease, you block the cure. If you take the pill to stop the anxiety, you chemically dampen the signal transduction. You put a piece of tape over the check engine light. The light goes off, but the engine is still overheating. Only now you have cut the line of communication. You stay in the overheating phase forever because you never let the update finish installing. You are stuck in a boot loop. Hypochondria is the enemy of evolution. When you obsess over the symptoms, scanning your body for failure, you create a feedback loop of cortisol. Cortisol is a low-frequency chemical. It signals danger to the cell membrane. When the cell perceives danger, it closes up. It stops taking in the new data. By fearing the process, you are literally chemically halting the activation. You must understand the scale of what is happening. You are undergoing a biocrystalline shift. Your current biology is largely carbon-based. Carbon is an excellent building block for structure, but it is a mediocre conductor of high-frequency electricity. It has high resistance. Resistance creates heat. That is why you feel the hot flashes and the burning spine. It is the friction of high voltage trying to push through a low-voltage wire. The activation of your dormant DNA is commanding the body to restructure its water and mineral content into a liquid crystalline matrix. Think of this technology shift like the internet. For years we used copper wires. It worked, but it was slow, and if you pushed too much data, it got hot and lagged. That is carbon. Now we use fiber optics. Glass, silica. It transmits light instantly with zero resistance and zero heat. Your body is trying to upgrade from the copper wire of the survival man to the fiber optic cabling of the chosen one. This is why you crave water. This is why you are drawn to salt. You are building the conductor. You are not sick. You are experiencing the intense friction of a hardware swap while the machine is still running. The junk DNA is the blueprint for this crystalline structure. It is the code for the fiber optics. Science ignored it because it didn't code for proteins, the bricks of the body. They didn't realize it coded for capacitance, the ability to hold charge. You are not failing. You are rendering. The exhaustion you feel is the power save mode of a supercomputer diverting all energy to the CPU. Stop trying to diagnose the illness and start facilitating the upgrade. The mechanic is under the hood, and he knows exactly which wires to cut. Let him work. This brings us to the most critical misunderstanding in modern biology, a mistake that has kept you trapped in a loop of medical anxiety for years. We need to dismantle the concept of junk DNA right now. For decades, geneticists looked at the 98% of your genome that does not code for proteins, and they dismissed it. They saw that the exons, the 2%, were responsible for building your eyes, your skin, your liver enzymes. They saw the building blocks. But when they looked at the introns, the vast majority of your internal library, they saw silence. They saw no protein synthesis. They saw no structural output. So, in their arrogance, they labeled it junk. Think of this like an alien species finding a smartphone. They press the plastic buttons on the side and see the screen light up. They conclude the buttons are the useful part because they create a visible reaction. But they open the back, see the microchip, see the battery, see the antenna, and because those parts don't click or move, they throw them away as junk. They discard the processor to worship the plastic. This is exactly what science has done to you. The junk DNA is not trash. It is the operating system. It is the hyperdimensional software waiting for a user powerful enough to log in. This is the paradigm shift you must integrate to stop fearing your own body. The 2% of DNA that science understands is the blueprint for the biological machine, the meat suit. The 98% that is now waking up is the blueprint for the consciousness that pilots it. You are not activating your DNA to become a better human, physically. You are activating it to function as an entirely new species. We are transitioning from a carbon-based evolutionary track, which focuses on survival and reproduction, to a crystalline-based evolutionary track, which focuses on data transmission and frequency resonance. You have felt this shift, even if you didn't have the language for it. You have felt a sudden violent disconnect from your past. You look at photos of yourself from 3 years ago, and you don't just see a younger version of yourself. You see a stranger. You see a person whose eyes hold a different frequency. This is not memory loss. This is a hard drive reformat. The junk DNA acts as a quantum receiver. As it activates, it begins to download a new timeline, a new personality architecture, and a new mission profile. To install the new operating system, the old one must be wiped. The grief you feel for your old self is real, but it is misplaced. You aren't losing yourself. You are shedding a skin that no longer fits the creature you are becoming. This is why your sensitivity has skyrocketed to unmanageable levels. In the old paradigm, your body was a chemical factory. Its job was to process food into fuel and keep the heart pumping. It was dense, robust, and relatively numb. Now, under the epigenetic override, your body is transforming into a biological transducer. A transducer is a device that converts energy from one form to another. You are becoming a device designed to convert high-frequency cosmic data into low-frequency biological reality. Think of it like moving from a dial-up internet connection to fiber optics. Dial-up uses copper wire. It is slow, sturdy, and can only handle simple signals. Fiber optics use glass, they use light. They are infinitely faster, but they are also infinitely more fragile. If you bend the glass too hard, the signal breaks. You are currently in the process of replacing your internal copper wiring with glass. This is the biocrystalline shift. This explains the paradox of your strength and your fragility. You can hold space for massive spiritual downloads that would crush a normal person, yet you cannot handle a trip to the grocery store without needing a nap. You are capable of telepathic empathy, feeling the emotions of a room instantly, yet you are physically dismantled by the smell of synthetic perfume or the hum of a fluorescent light. This is not weakness. This is the price of high-performance hardware. A Formula One engine is faster than a tractor, but it is also much more temperamental. It requires specific fuel, specific tuning, and a sterile environment. You are trying to run a Formula One engine on tractor fuel, and you are wondering why it's stalling. When you understand this, the way you treat your body changes immediately. You stop trying to fix the pain and start aligning the instrument. The old medical model is based on suppression. If it hurts, numb it. If it's inflamed, force it down. But in this new crystalline biology, pain is not a mistake. Pain is resistance. Heat is friction. If you feel heat in your spine, it is because a high voltage is trying to pass through a restricted channel. If you try to numb that sensation, you are essentially putting a rubber stopper in a fire hose. The pressure will build until something bursts. Instead, we move into the methodology of yielding. In the past, you used willpower to push through life. That was the carbon-based survival strategy. In the crystalline state, willpower creates static. It creates interference. To allow the data to flow through your nervous system, you must become hollow. You must relax the tension in the muscles, not out of laziness, but out of aerodynamic necessity. The signal cannot travel through a tense wire. This is where we see the definitive DNA activation signs that most doctors miss. They look for blood markers. We look for resonance. One of the most terrifying aspects of this shift for many of you has been the sudden intolerance to toxicity. And I don't just mean chemicals, I mean people. You have noticed a specific relationship turn cold overnight. You have noticed that you can no longer sit in a room with people who are gossiping or operating in low-density fear states. Physically, you get nauseous. Your throat closes. Your solar plexus tightens. In the old paradigm, you judged yourself for this. You called yourself antisocial. You thought you were becoming judgmental or weak. Let me correct that record. This is a biocompatibility failsafe. As your DNA activates, your field becomes highly coherent. Coherence is an ordered state of energy. Low vibration environments, gossip, fear, and aggression are incoherent. They are chaotic waveforms. When a coherent laser beam hits a chaotic wall of fog, the light scatters. It creates heat. It creates distortion. Your body is physically rejecting these environments not because you are a snob, but because you are a precision instrument that can no longer function in a dirty lab. You require a sterile energetic field to complete the download. You are not crazy. You are not hypochondriac. You are a biological pioneer walking around with a supercomputer inside a biology that hasn't fully caught up yet. The junk is coming online, the library is opening, and the ringing in your ears, the heat in your spine, the sudden exhaustion, these are not symptoms of death. These are the system sounds of a reboot. You are not dying. You are just now beginning to live. You have spent months, perhaps years, waiting for a diagnosis from the outside world. You have visited specialists, you have run blood panels, and you have waited for a lab technician to hand you a piece of paper that explains why you feel like you are dying. But the paper always comes back normal. The doctors tell you it is stress. They tell you it is psychosomatic. They are looking for pathology, but you are experiencing evolution. You do not need a lab test to confirm the epigenetic override because you are the lab. Your body is the testing ground. The data is not on a chart. It is in your nervous system happening in real time. We are going to look at the 3 specific biological markers that confirm your junk DNA is coming online. These are not vague feelings. These are physiological evidences of a hardware transition. The first evidence is the auditory calibration. You know this sensation intimately, though you may have feared it. It is the sudden, piercing, high-pitched frequency that screams into your ear without warning. It is not a sound from the room. It is a sound from inside the skull. It can be a high-frequency whine, a static buzz, or a sudden sensation of going deaf in one ear, as if a mute button was pressed on the world. The medical establishment calls this tinnitus, and they define it as damage. They define it as the degradation of the hair cells in the cochlea. But there is a distinct difference between the static decay of tinnitus and the dynamic calibration of ascension. Tinnitus is constant, grating, and usually low frequency. The activation signal is tonal, transient, and incredibly high frequency. Biologically, your cochlea is a spiral-shaped cavity in the inner ear that acts as a piezoelectric transducer. Its job is to convert mechanical sound waves into electrical signals for the brain. But as your dormant DNA activates, your biocrystalline receiver is being tuned to a higher bandwidth. You are beginning to pick up frequencies that exist beyond the standard human range of 20 to 20 zeros or 0 hertz. When you hear that ringing, you are not losing your hearing. You are experiencing the friction of a higher dimensional data packet entering a lower dimensional receiver. Think of it like the old dial-up internet connection. Remember the screeching sound of the modem? That sound was data. It was raw information being translated across the line. That is exactly what is happening in your inner ear. People often search for the phrase ringing in ears' spiritual meaning, hoping for a metaphysical answer, perhaps a message from a guide. But let's look at the biology of the cochlea acting as a frequency transducer. You are downloading a compressed file of light codes. Your conscious mind cannot unzip this file yet because the operating system isn't ready. So, it registers as noise. It registers as a tone. The next time this happens, do not panic. Do not try to make it stop. Stop what you are doing. Close your eyes. Focus on the sound. Treat it like a tuning fork. If you listen closely, you will notice the pitch changes. It oscillates. That is the active calibration of your auditory cortex. You are learning to hear the voice of the new timeline. The second evidence is the voltage spike. This is perhaps the most terrifying marker for the uninitiated because it mimics a medical emergency. You are sitting on your couch. You are completely safe. There is no tiger in the room. There is no email from your boss. The environment is calm. Yet suddenly your heart begins to hammer against your ribs. Your chest feels tight. A wave of heat, intense, radiating heat, explodes from your solar plexus and moves up your spine. Your hands might shake. Your breath becomes shallow. Your mind immediately races to the worst-case scenario. You think, I am having a panic attack, or worse, I am having a heart attack. If you go to the ER, they will hook you up to an EKG. They will look at the electrical rhythm of your heart, and 9 times out of 10, they will tell you your heart is perfectly healthy. They will give you a sedative and send you home with a diagnosis of generalized anxiety. But you know you weren't anxious. You were calm until the body fired. This is not anxiety. This is amperage. We established earlier that the epigenetic override is an energy-intensive process. Unlocking the introns, the dormant segments of your DNA, requires a massive surge of biological electricity, ATP. Your mitochondria, the power plants of your cells, are being pushed to maximum capacity. When a massive download of high-frequency energy hits your field, your physical cabling acts like a resistor. If you try to push 220 volts through a wire rated for 110 volts, the wire gets hot. It vibrates. It struggles to conduct the current. That is the heat you are feeling. That is the palpitations. It is a power surge, not a system failure. You must learn to distinguish between psychological anxiety and biological voltage. The test is simple. Check your mind. If your thoughts are racing, if you are worrying about the future, if you are replaying the past, that is anxiety. But if your mind is blank, if you are in a state of peace and suddenly your body begins to vibrate and heat up, that is the epigenetic override. You are being surged. Your nervous system is being stretched to accommodate more light. If you have experienced these voltage spikes or the ear ringing, comment I am calibrating below. Let's build a database of these symptoms so we can stop pretending we are all just anxious. The third evidence is the density reject. This is the marker that usually destroys your social life before you understand it. It is a counterintuitive sign because it feels like you are becoming weaker, more fragile, and less resilient. You used to be able to eat anything. You could eat processed meat, drink alcohol, consume sugar, and wake up fine. You used to be the person who could stay at the party until 2 a.m. You could navigate crowded shopping malls, subways, and chaotic offices with ease. But virtually overnight, that changed. Now you eat a piece of heavy meat, and your digestion shuts down for 2 days. You drink 1 glass of wine, and you feel a toxic hangover that lasts for 48 hours. You walk into a crowded grocery store, and within 5 minutes you feel a crushing exhaustion, a sudden nausea, or a headache that wraps around your skull like a vice. You feel like you have the flu, but the moment you leave the store, the moment you get back into your car and sit in silence, the symptoms vanish. You interpret this as weakness. You think, why am I so sensitive? Why can't I handle the world anymore? Everyone else is fine. You are not becoming weak. You are becoming biocompatible with a higher frequency. Think of a high-performance Formula One race car. It is an incredible machine, designed for peak speed and efficiency. But because it is so highly tuned, it is incredibly sensitive to fuel quality. If you put low-grade, dirty diesel fuel into a Formula One engine, it won't just run poorly, it will destroy the engine. A beat-up old truck can run on anything. It can run on dirty fuel because its system is crude. It has loose tolerances. For most of your life, you were operating like the truck. You could process density, toxicity, and low vibrational energy because your DNA was dormant. You were asleep. Now, you are waking up. Your biological structure is shifting from a carbon-based density to a crystalline-based receiver. A crystal requires clarity to transmit light. If you paint over a crystal with mud, it cannot refract the laser. When you eat dense, low-vibrational food, your body now rejects it violently because it interferes with the recoding process. When you enter a room full of fear, anger, or chaotic noise, your nervous system, which is now an open aperture, a high-sensitivity radar, picks up every single signal. You are feeling the unspoken emotions of the people around you. You are processing the electrical hum of the lights. You are not sick. You are unshielded. You have likely noticed a specific relationship turn cold overnight. You didn't argue. Nothing dramatic happened. But you woke up one morning and realized you could simply no longer be in their presence. The resonance was gone. It felt physically painful to engage in the old conversations. This is the law of physics. Resonance and dissonance cannot occupy the same space without friction. Your biology is aggressively filtering your reality. It is forcing you to create a sterile environment so that the surgery on your DNA can be completed. These 3 markers, the auditory calibration, the voltage spike, and the density reject, are the triad of the activated human. They are the proof that the old operating system has been uninstalled. You are in the reboot phase. The screen is black, the fans are spinning at maximum speed, and the heat is rising. But the system is not crashing. It is preparing to load the new interface. You are not a patient. You are a pioneer. And the pain you feel is simply the price of admission to the new Earth. We are now leaving the intellectual understanding and entering the laboratory of your own biology. You do not need to understand the mechanics of a combustion engine to drive a car, but right now, you are the mechanic and the engine is running hot. We are going to manually facilitate the integration of this high-frequency code. If you are multitasking, stop. If you are driving, pause this audio. You cannot rewrite your genetic operating system while your attention is fractured. Sit or lie down in a position where your spine is straight. This is not about relaxation. This is about alignment. Your spinal column is the primary fiber optic cable for your nervous system. If it is kinked, the data packet is lost. Straighten your back. Tuck your chin slightly. Open the channel. Phase 1 is the cellular scan. I want you to bypass the skin. Bypass the muscles. I want you to bring your total awareness into the center of your bones. Go into the femur, the thigh bone. Go into the humerus, the upper arm. Locate the marrow. This is the factory of your blood. This is where your stem cells are born. You have been feeling a specific kind of heaviness in your limbs lately. It feels like gravity has doubled. It feels like you are walking through water. You have interpreted this as weakness. Reframe that data point now. That heaviness is density. It is the physical weight of the carbon-based structure resisting the crystalline upgrade. Feel that weight now. Do not fight it. Do not try to be light. Feel the absolute density of your matter. Acknowledge the tired, aching hum in the center of your bones. That is the sound of your hardware under load. Tell your body right now, I feel the weight. The weight is safe. As you hold your focus in the marrow, realize that your stem cells are listening. They are waiting for a command. Until now, they have been replicating the old you. The version of you that is tired, the version of you that is aging, the version of you that is trapped in linear time. We are about to change the instruction set. Phase 2 is the permission signal. This is the epigenetic override. Take a deep inhale through the nose, dragging the breath up from the base of the spine to the center of the brain. Hold it at the top. This is the compression. This is the loading bar. As you exhale, visualize a wave of gold electric light sweeping down your spine, penetrating deep into the marrow. This is not imagination, this is bioelectricity. Your intention directs the voltage. Do this again. Inhale up the spine. Pull the energy from the earth. Hold. In this suspension, you are accessing the 0-point field. Exhale and send the command down. I authorize the override. Feel that command ripple through the nervous system. You might feel a twitch. You might feel a sudden spike of heat in the chest or the palms. That is the connection being established. Think of those non-coding regions of your DNA, the 98% that science called junk. Visualize them as millions of tiny gray switches inside every cell. They have been dormant for thousands of years. They have been off. As you breathe this golden data down your spine, see those switches flicking on. Not all at once, just the ones you are ready for. One by one. From gray to gold. From dormant to active. You might hear a high-pitched tone in your ear right now. Do not pull away. That is the sound of the system coming online. Lean into it. Now, phase 3, nervous system regulation. We have activated the system, which creates heat. Now we must cool the engine so the data can be written to the drive. If you stay in a state of high voltage excitement, you will burn out the circuitry. We need to engage the vagal brake. Shift your breathing. Inhale for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 8. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You are signaling the vagus nerve that you are safe. You are telling the amygdala, the fear center, to stand down. The upgrade is not an attack. The heat is not a fever. Notice the temperature in your body. You have likely been fluctuating between freezing cold and burning hot. This is thermal regulation lag. As you lengthen the exhale, watch the heat transform. It is no longer a chaotic fever. It is a radiant warmth. It is the hum of a high-performance machine running smoothly. You are moving from a sympathetic nervous system state, fight or flight, into a parasympathetic state, rest and digest. Only in this state can the new coding be integrated. You cannot install software while you are running from a predator. The predator is gone. You are safe in the new timeline. Feel the tension in your trapezius muscles, at the base of your neck. You have been carrying the weight of the world there. That tension is static noise interfering with the signal. Drop your shoulders. Let gravity take them. Clear the interference. Phase 4 is crystalline anchoring. Your body is 70% water. Water is a liquid crystal. It holds memory. It holds vibration. Right now, the water in your cells is restructuring. It is moving from a chaotic, sloshing liquid into a structured hexagonal grid. This is what allows you to hold more light without frying your nerves. Visualize the water inside your cells becoming clear, structured, and still, like a mountain lake that is perfectly reflective. In this stillness, ask your body a question. Do not answer it with your mind. Let the body answer. What color is the energy in my bones right now? Wait for it. It might be a flash of violet, a pulse of electric blue, or a deep grounding red? There is no wrong answer. This color is the frequency signature of your current integration. Hold that color. Saturate your cells with it. If you saw blue, breathe blue into your marrow. If you saw gold, let your skeleton become a structure of gold light. This is you locking in the frequency. You are saving the progress. Feel the stability returning. The shaking stops. The anxiety dissolves into a deep, vibrating presence. You are not sick. You are not broken. You are a biological transducer that has just increased its capacity. You are holding more voltage than you were 10 minutes ago. Take one final deep breath, filling the lungs completely, stretching the rib cage. Hold it. Squeeze the muscles at the base of the spine gently. Pump the fluid up to the brain. And exhale, releasing it all with a sound. Let the sound vibrate your chest. You are back. But you are not the same. You have authorized the shift. The code is active. The junk is now the jewel. Open your eyes slowly. Look at the room around you. Colors might look sharper. The edges of objects might seem more defined. This is not your eyesight changing. It is your processing speed increasing. You are rendering reality at a higher resolution. Stay with this sensation. Do not jump up. Do not grab your phone to check emails. Respect the calibration process. You have just rebooted the system. Let it load. You have initiated the override. You have scanned the marrow. You have felt the hum of the dormant code coming online. But now we arrive at the most critical juncture of this entire protocol. This is where most people fail. They have the revelation. They feel the energy. And then they go right back into the world, plug themselves back into the old grid and blow a fuse. They try to run this new, high-voltage software on a lifestyle built for low-voltage survival. The result is a crash. The exhaustion returns, the anxiety spikes, and they assume the awakening has stopped. It hasn't stopped. You just stopped managing the machine. You are no longer a passive passenger in this body. You are the steward of the new human prototype. You are the engineer sitting at the console. When the warning lights flash, you do not panic. You do not run to a doctor to ask why the engine is hot. You adjust the coolant. You regulate the intake. You manage the load. To maintain this frequency, you need an ecosystem of tools, not spiritual rituals, not magic spells, but biological protocols that support the recoding of your DNA. We are going to install 3 specific tools into your daily operating system. These are your controls. Tool number 1, the vagal brake. This is your manual cooling system. When you are in the throes of this epigenetic override, your sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight mechanism, is often pegged at maximum capacity. This is not because you are in danger. It is because high frequency registers as high intensity to a nervous system that isn't calibrated yet. Your body mistakes the influx of light for a threat. You feel the heat rising, the heart palpitations we discussed, the sudden, irrational panic. In engineering terms, your system is overheating. If you let it run this hot for too long, you will burn out the neurotransmitters. You will crash into chronic fatigue. You must manually engage the parasympathetic nervous system. You must pump the brakes. The tool is the physiological sigh. This is not just deep breathing. This is a hardwired biological toggle switch for the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the superhighway connecting your brain to your heart and gut. It is the brake pedal. Here is the protocol. When the ringing gets too loud or the anxiety spikes without cause, stop moving. Inhale deeply through the nose. Then, and this is the key, inhale again. A second, sharp intake of air on top of the first one to pop open the alveoli in the lungs. Then, exhale slowly through the mouth. Make the exhale twice as long as the inhale. Do this 5 times. What you are doing is purely mechanical. You are offloading carbon dioxide. You are signaling the heart to slow its beat-to-beat interval. You are telling the amygdala, the threat detection center, to stand down. You are not relaxing. You are cooling the hardware so the upload can continue without frying the motherboard. You cannot integrate a new timeline if your biology is stuck in survival mode. The vagal brake is non-negotiable. Tool number 2, The crystalline diet. Now we must address the fuel. You have likely noticed a sudden shift in what your body tolerates. You eat a heavy meal, perhaps meat or processed grains that you've eaten for decades, and suddenly you need to sleep for 3 hours, or you feel a wave of nausea. This is not an allergy. This is an incompatibility error. Your body is shifting from a carbon-based energy production model, which relies on breaking down dense matter for fuel, to a crystalline-based model, which acts more like a conductor of frequency. You are becoming less like a combustion engine and more like a battery. Combustion engines like density. Batteries need conductivity. The single most important factor in this transition is conductivity. Your DNA is a fractal antenna. It conducts electricity. For that electricity to move, your intracellular fluid must be highly conductive. Most people are walking around with cellular dehydration. They drink water, but the water doesn't get into the cell. It just flushes through the system. This creates resistance. Resistance creates heat. Heat creates inflammation. You must switch to a high conductivity protocol. This means living water. Water found in fruits and vegetables. Water that is structured by nature. It means electrolytes. Magnesium, potassium, sodium. These are the minerals that allow the electrical signal to jump from one neuron to the next. If you are deficient in magnesium, the signal drops. You get brain fog. You get muscle cramps. You get the lag we spoke about earlier. When people ask how to activate DNA, they expect a meditation technique. But the most important step in how to activate DNA is actually hydration and mineralization. You cannot run a fiber optic signal through a dry, brittle cable. Listen to your body. If it rejects density, do not force it. If it craves fruit, give it fruit. You are not dieting. You are reducing the electrical resistance in your tissues so the data can flow freely. You are building a body that can conduct the voltage of God without short-circuiting. Tool number 3. The frequency shield. Finally, we must discuss protection. As your junk DNA activates, your aperture opens. You are taking in more data per second than the average human. You are reading micro-expressions, sensing emotional fields, and hearing frequencies that others filter out. This is a superpower, but without a shield, it is a liability. If you walk into a crowded store, a hospital, or a chaotic environment with your aperture wide open, you will pick up interference. You will feel emotions that are not yours. You will feel sudden exhaustion as your system tries to process the chaotic data of 100 other people. You need a Faraday cage. In physics, a Faraday cage is an enclosure used to block electromagnetic fields. You need to build an energetic one. Before you enter a dense environment, you must consciously close the shutter. This is a mental command that triggers a biological response. Visualize a grid of gold light surrounding your field. This is not just imagination. It is an instruction to your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters sensory input. You are telling your brain, do not process external data. Keep the signal internal. You might feel antisocial. You might feel distant. That is okay. You are in a calibration phase. You would not leave a sensitive telescope lens exposed during a sandstorm. Do not leave your nervous system exposed in a chaotic world. If you feel the static building up, the irritation, the dizziness, remove yourself. Go to your car. Go to the bathroom. Re-engage the vagal brake, reset the shield. You are the guardian of this vessel. The upgrade is automatic, but the integration is manual. It requires your participation. The ringing in your ears is the signal. The heat in your spine is the power. The vagal brake, the crystalline diet, and the frequency shield are the stabilizers. You are moving from a state of breaking down to a state of breaking through. The hardware is stabilizing. The operating system is rebooting. But a supercomputer, no matter how powerful, is useless without a program to run. You have the hardware. You have the power. But what is the function? What is this new machine built to do? You did not go through this fire just to be a healthy person. You went through it to become a functional instrument. Now that the instrument is tuned, we must look at the music it was designed to play. We must look at the mission code. You have survived the purge. You have navigated the density. You have recalibrated the vessel. Take a moment to acknowledge the magnitude of what just occurred within your physiology. You began this transmission viewing your symptoms as evidence of a breakdown, a system failure, perhaps even a punishment. You now understand that the heat, the ringing, the exhaustion, these were not signs of decay. They were the intense friction of a biological metamorphosis. You are no longer a patient seeking a cure for a mystery illness. You are a pioneer enduring the harsh atmospheric entry of a new paradigm. You have successfully stabilized the hardware, but stabilization is not the destination. It is merely the prerequisite. Think of the supercomputer we discussed earlier. We have spent this entire time upgrading the cooling fans, replacing the silicon chips with crystal, and expanding the RAM to handle terabytes of data. The machine is now humming. The noise has stopped. The latency is gone. The connection to the server is instant and lossless. But a supercomputer that sits in a dark room, running at optimum efficiency with no program to execute, is useless. It is just an expensive box of potential. This brings us to the terrifying and exhilarating question that follows every successful upgrade. Now that you are online, what is the function you were built to perform? Your DNA did not activate simply to make you feel physically robust. The universe is an efficient engineer. It does not waste energy on upgrades that do not serve a specific output. The dormant codes, those introns we spoke of, did not just contain instructions for repairing your nervous system. They contain the executable files for your specific timeline. They hold the coordinates for your contribution to this planetary shift. You have likely felt this void as keenly as you felt the physical pain. There is a specific silence that comes after the ringing stops. It is the silence of waiting. You feel the capacity for greatness, you feel the voltage humming in your veins, but you may not yet see the target. You are a high-performance missile sitting on the launch pad, fuel tanks full, guidance systems locked, waiting for the launch codes. This is the great secret of the chosen one phenomenon. Being chosen is not a status symbol. It is a deployment order. The biological upgrade you're experiencing is the necessary preparation for a mission so specific, so high frequency, that your old body would have disintegrated trying to execute it. You had to be rebuilt because what you are about to do requires a structural integrity that a standard human nervous system cannot support. We are moving from biology to destiny. The epigenetic override was phase 1. It was the clearing of the construction site. Phase 2 is the architecture. There is a specific sequence hidden in that newly activated DNA, a mission code, that acts as a magnetic resonance signal. It doesn't just tell you who you are, it pulls your reality toward you. It attracts the partners, the resources, and the strategic openings that align with your new frequency. Until now, you may have been forcing doors open, trying to manifest using the old carbon-based operating system of effort and hustle. That is why it was so exhausting. That is why you burned out. You were trying to run high-speed software on dial-up hardware. Now the hardware is ready. The glass cables are laid. The light is pulsing. You don't need to force the signal. You just need to know how to read the data stream. This is where many stall. They get their bodies healthy. They stop the panic attacks. They ground the energy. And then they sit in the comfort of their new stability. They treat the activation as the finish line. Do not make that mistake. Comfort is not the goal of an evolutionary leap. Contribution is. In the next transmission, we are going to bridge that gap. We will move beyond the cellular mechanics and into the quantum trajectory of your life. The next video is titled, Your Soul Mission, How to Read the Code You Just Activated. We will deconstruct how to translate the subtle impulses of your nervous system into actionable strategic directives. We will turn that high-pitched ringing into a clear communication channel. We will decode the signals so you know exactly where to point this massive energy you are now holding. You have built the vessel. You have weatherproofed the hull. You have upgraded the engine. Now let's launch the ship. If you are ready to receive the navigation codes and accept the responsibility of the power you now wield, subscribe to this channel. Lock in this frequency. By subscribing, you are telling the algorithm of your own reality that you are not just here to heal. You are here to lead. You are signaling that you are ready for phase 2. Do not let this clarity fade. Do not let the density of the world compress your expanded structure back into the small, tired box you just broke out of. Go drink a glass of water. Mineralize your system. Honor this biology. It is working harder than you can possibly imagine. It is rewriting the history of your lineage in real time. You woke up this morning tired, convinced you were broken, perhaps silently begging for it to stop. You go to sleep tonight knowing you are being built. You are under construction for a reason. The ancient texts and the modern mystics often say that the angels look upon humanity with awe. They are not shocked because we are weak. They are not shocked because we fall. They are shocked because you, the chosen, have the sheer structural fortitude to hold the frequency of heaven within the density of a human body without shattering. You are holding the voltage. The upgrade is complete. Now, the work begins. I will see you in the next stage of the mission.